Why is Keir Starmer so obsessed with the free movement of people? I don't know the answer to this question. That's why I'm asking it, because I am genuinely confused by his attitude towards this issue. As we know, free movement of people from the UK to the European Union ended with Brexit. And that's something that isn't going to change for the time being, because even those who want to go back into the European Union recognise that that event will happen at some far distant point of time, if ever at all. So what we are talking about instead is the fact that right now, Keir Starmer is trying to chummy up with Europe a bit more, and we are hearing from the European Union that what they want as a condition of that is that people under the age of 30 from the UK and from Europe should have free movement into and out of the UK and into and out of Europe. So young people will have a right that the rest of us won't, but they believe that this is important. Why do they believe it's important? Why do I believe that is important? Because I definitely do. And I am really bemused by the fact that Starmer doesn't. I believe it's important because young people need to have the opportunity to travel. In this world, we do now have the chance to leave a country quite affordably. You can get out of the UK and into Europe on a train, on a boat, on a flight, all of which will not cost you a great deal of money. As importantly, I want people to have the chance not just leave to go on holiday, but to go and actually work or study somewhere else in Europe. Because that opportunity of seeing another culture is, as far as I'm concerned, really important. I did work elsewhere in Europe in my 20s, only briefly, but for long enough to really understand another place, I think. And that broadened my imagination. It made me realize that there was more than one way of doing things. And that's precisely the benefit of giving young people the chance to go and work abroad, and also for young people from Europe to come and work here so that they can see we have something to contribute in turn. Building this depth of understanding across borders is how good relations are built internationally. Now, you would think that Keir Starmer would want to do that. You would think he would want young people to have that chance. You would even think he wanted to be very open-minded on this when it comes to the free movement of students. And yet he isn't. He doesn't to do this. He's made it very clear to the Germans, who have put this idea to him quite strongly, that this is not on the agenda as far as the UK is concerned. And I don't understand why. I know I've said that several times already, and I might again before this video is out, because it is so perplexing, unless we consider a rather unsavoury possibility. And that possibility is that Starmer is saying no to this suggestion for a wholly irrational reason. He's saying no simply because he can. Rather like the parent who says to their child who asks to do something, "No, you can't." The child then says, "Why can't I?" And the parent says, "Because I told you you cannot," without offering any further explanation. Starmer seems to be saying just that about free movement. He's denying that right to young people because he says so. In the process, he seems to be revealing a rather unsavoury side to his character, which I would call authoritarianism. I'm in charge, you will do what I say, seems to be the message that is coming out of this, just as the parent says that to their child for that reason. But it doesn't build a good relationship between the parent and the child, as any parent will know, because stress will almost invariably follow. And this most certainly will not build good relationships between the Labour government and young people who want the chance to go to both travel and live and work for periods in Europe during the course of the period before they're 30. After 30, it tends to be less worrisome. People tend to come home. He should know that. Why do they come home? Because they want to be near family when they in turn start to have families. That is a trend that we recognise. But he's not doing it. And if he's doing this because this is some form of authoritarian ideal that he's putting forward, of maintaining Brexit purity because he says that we should and we can, and he won't be open-minded to anything else, I'm really worried. Because if we see that now with regard to such a relatively minor issue, what other freedoms is he going to constrain that we would want to enjoy during the time that he's in office? Is Starmer really broad-minded enough to be Prime Minister? It's a fair question to ask, and I don't know the answer. There you go. I said it again.